I know you won't believe me when I tell you don't be afraid, so instead I'll say, everything is temporary. Rust and dry leaves, yellow letters, and dusty shoeboxes. I know it's difficult. You've become persuaded by the sway of the day by day, and you take it on your back flay by flay whenever you bend down to pick up your crucifix. Far be it from me to accuse anyone of small crosses. See, I can't count how many times I've said to myself, this is the worst day of my life. That's all it is. A labeled speck and a collection of dust motes, so why do you insist on keeping them in glass cases? You store mispronounced names in the gazes of past faces like butterfly wings with the wings thumbtacked to the walls, hoping someday you could trade these trinkets for truths, for truces. The world, don't get me started on the world. So many words have been said about the rigidity of the city, but little about its malleability, about its softness, about how it never holds up or keeps form long enough to make a monument of itself. How it is evidence that if walls could talk, half of their stories would be about getting pissed on, and its lit windows like the stare of steel barrels, its institutions about as welcoming as in-laws, its roads about as readable as holy text. And we lift all this up to make them lofty. See, no one can blame anyone for trying to soften the concrete with the conceptual, because that's what fluff is for, right? We are superfluously soft, and we shut the door tight. And we walk into these upper-class boutiques looking for the best hats to put on, and we keep a spare face in the trunk for when the road gets too bumpy, and we put a tall glass of it won't be long on the bedside table so we have something to slake ourselves every morning whenever we reach out to shut down self-set sirens. I'm sorry for all these emperors striding naked except for their weapons. I'm sorry for the generations before us, the way they sit at the table looking at you like you were a graph of stocks crashing. I'm sorry that the shadow of money hangs over us like thunderclouds. The way you stick your tongue out hoping you are not left unquenched. The way you put on your best front to be among 100 anxious clothes racks, fed on a steady diet of orange juice and Prozac. Pancakes laid out on the table by someone doting and devoted, but you sleep until noon so you wake up to cold stacks, but it's not like you chose that. Recall a time when you were 11 years old and you spoke in the language of middle-class cable cartoons. Why was I even born anyway? At the time, there was no other available point of reference. Now you're looking down the bottom of bottles like you were looking through telescopes, looking for land, coughing up sea salt while searching for sand, going, we just passed this rolling wave. How could we have come here again? We are pattern-seeking creatures feasting on perceived consistencies who get visibly pissed when living does not conform to our formulas. And our friends travel down the marks on our forearms like railroad tracks headed elsewhere. But for you to go on like this, makes just about as much sense as pulling out your tooth and sticking it under your pillow, hoping it grows into a more eloquent mouth. You, with your hightail hope and your getaway gall, please don't go. You, with your swaddling words and your cathedral hands and your prism heart, the one that shines bright in all my caverns, won't you let me count on you the way I count beads between my fingers? You, with your eloquence, give form to my shadows to make them breakable. And I love your bright colors, your mustard yellow sweater and your pastel pink shirt. Just for war against despair, won't you lie in the trenches with me? Won't you disarm me? I will do the same for you. We know better than to keep sharp explosive things in our hands. We are so tired of fighting, of fortune cookies, of astrology, of robes and scrolls, and the speeches of so many valedictorians before us. I know you won't believe me when I tell you, don't be afraid. So instead I'll say, everything is temporary. Everything is temporary. But we go into the world, sweet child, we go into the world with gold light and guitar solos and whatever's left inside of us. Thank you.